actually, you'll get to start with the next question.
Great.
So, and this will be the last question. As I mentioned in the beginning, instead of a closing statement, if you want to add something you would normally say at a closing statement, you may do that as you're answering this question. However, this is a difficult question. The metro area has the dubious distinction of having the worst disparity in the nation between African American and white unemployment. If mayor, what will you do about this?
It's what I mean when I talk about unifying the city. The people I've talked to and the stories I've heard let me know on a very personal level how much work needs to be done here. But when we talk about creating opportunities for folks, when we talk about closing gaps, part of what that means is we have to elevate our expectations for everybody. We have to believe that people can meet those expectations, and we have to create opportunities that allow them to meet those expectations. So the key is making sure, first, that we are putting opportunities where opportunities are needed most. The communities that need jobs in those communities. We need to make sure we have a transportation network that we will grow jobs around that transit network, but it also allows people to get to and from their jobs. And we need to create incentives for people to put jobs, for companies to put jobs, entrepreneurs to put their jobs where they're needed most. And I know that the Minnesota Chamber is working with philanthropy to create an incentive program for just that reason, and the city needs to support that. And the sign says stop, and I ask for your vote for mayor.
Jackie.
I live in a community which exemplifies the disparity we're talking about. We need to create jobs. We need to ensure that we are out there looking for those jobs that are coming back to our shores again. We need to create manufacturing jobs in our communities. We need to identify training sources to ensure that people are trained for the jobs that are available. And we need to ensure that we keep jobs in the city. We've lost about 28,000 jobs out of the city of Minneapolis in the last 10 years. That's a lot of jobs. It's a lot of opportunity missed for people in our neighborhoods. So we need to be strategic about what we're doing. We need to not just be funding driven about what we're doing. We need to have a strategic, overriding plan for creating jobs. I would look at recreating the Industrial Development Commission, which in past years was chartered with making sure that we kept employment in our city and that we kept those jobs in our city. So it's a strategic effort to identify those jobs that are out there, make sure people are trained for them, and create new jobs in our city. I have the experience, I have the energy, and I have the commitment to be the mayor of the city of Minneapolis. I ask for your vote.
Mark?
It can be the African American population. It could be the Latino population. It could be working people who are earning substandard wages. But the fact of the matter is we've got 27,600 fewer jobs in our city than we did in 2001. 8.8% of our workforce has shrunk. This is one area where I've been critical of the city. The city has been slow on the uptake to forge innovative solutions. I have stated that my first priority is going to be on the jobs front to go to North Minneapolis. I have already spoken with the former president of the university about setting up a private sector driven task force to attract a company, light manufacturing, in to get us a jump start. 200 jobs, 300 jobs, just get us a start. And then we attack in a more forceful, a more comprehensive, a more holistic way the issue of job training and helping get these populations back on their feet and into the workforce.
Cam?
I've lived this topic. I mentioned how my coworkers and I built a wind turbine maintenance company, providing services for wind turbines across the country and around the world. We're based right here in Minnesota, 120 employees, making good paychecks, full benefits, taking care of their families with that paycheck. I sat every month with the CEO. I was the number two, he was the CEO, and we would decide whether or not to hire. So I know what it takes to create jobs. We need to do 3 things in Minneapolis. First, streamline the process to get the necessary approvals to start a business in Minneapolis or expand an existing one. I don't mean tinker around the edges as the current leadership has done. I mean completely revamp it in the following ways. 1, make it more convenient. Put all of it online. Currently, you have to go to downtown Minneapolis and get a number and wait to get essentially a permission slip to start your business. No more. When I'm mayor of Minneapolis, if you want to start a business, you can go online rather than wait in line. We'll shorten the period down to 3 weeks. If the city hasn't said anything about it in 3 weeks, you're approved. That's groundbreaking, but it's what we need to create the jobs that we need in our city. And the third thing is to support the great work of programs like Step Up. If you haven't met a Step Up kid, you should. Thousands of kids across our community learning professional job skills right here in our city with partnerships in the private sector. Thank you.
Donna?
This is a stubborn, tough problem. In spite of our platitudes and our civil rights movement and our laws, these disparities and our good intentions, these disparities still exist. So I say, nothing's going to change until we start measuring everything and holding everybody accountable. So we have now an exalted requirement to 32% participation by minorities. We have to measure everything and hold them accountable, whether it be the stadium or our city staff and departments. I'm glad I partnered with Councilmember Glidden to ban the box that prohibited many ex-offenders from getting work because people just saw the box checked for ex-offender and threw it in the wastebasket. And we're working on everybody in to make sure everybody joins the prosperity that's coming as the economy bounces back. And I'm on that committee. There's work to be done, but we got to be objective and don't indulge ourselves by saying we're nice people, the job's done. Measure it and hold people accountable.
Thank you. Gary?
Stadiums don't end poverty. Look at Detroit, 2 stadiums, 3 casinos, 15% unemployment rate. If we spent $1 billion investing in early childhood education, if we made sure that every child growing up in poverty had access to prenatal care, had access to early childhood education, had access to Head Start, had access to quality health care, then we will shrink the disparities. I am committed to the accountability. I am committed to the measurements and the goals, but I will put the investment where it needs to be put, which is disrupting the cycle of poverty that continues through our community like a plague, and it robs our city of the future chance of the next generation to live to the quality of life that so many of us enjoy in our city today.
Jim.
I think there's a couple practical things we can do. I think you don't change people, but you can provide incentives. And I think that's, if we want businesses to hire more people they're outside the norm in terms of whatever the group is, it's whatever people are unrepresented in the workforce, we want those people to be hired because obviously they're having more trouble. So we provide incentives. The second thing we do is we deal with this state testing in a way that excludes a lot of our kids that are not passing the state tests. They can't get high school educations, and a lot of those kids are people of color. And so we can address some of those issues right now that way to make sure that they're not excluded from jobs because they don't have their high school degree yet. And for my closing statement, I want to thank my wife, Dottie Brown, for being here and ask you for your vote. And please stop by and talk to me afterwards. I think we got another round, don't we? So.
Now we're going to finish the forum with what we call a lightning round. And we have some interesting questions. I hope are there enough in here? so. There should be at least one for each of you. And we're going to start here, and this time we are going to go around. And you get to pick a question and answer it in no more than one sentence. If you can answer it with just a word, or a yes or no or maybe, that's okay too. And then the same question will be answered by everybody, and then pass the basket on. And what you do with the mics, you guys got to figure that out. You can, well, take a mic because you're going to have to move this around. So, here.
Can I borrow somebody's reading glasses? No. Got it. Do you think ranked choice voting will impact this year's election, this year's campaign? I'm hoping so.
So I answered this question or
No,
another
answer
question?
the same one. Okay.
So do I think ranked choice voting will impact this year's campaign? Yes, I do, for the better.
Yes, I think what we've seen tonight is an example, an end to negative campaigning and personal attacks, and a focus on the issues.
It'll increase participation. It will take the fangs out of some of the political discourse, and it will allow for more people to have more choices and learn more from the other candidates.
I went through it once and I won. I'm going through it now and I'll win.
Yes, in my case, I'm not seeking the endorsement of any party. Ranked choice voting enables me to build a coalition across party lines, people from all walks of life in all parts of our city who want that fresh set of eyes looking at the challenges we face.
Yes, it gives every part of our city much more of a voice in this election, and it makes it much more fun as a candidate because I don't have to stop the conversation with everybody. I can say, but I could be your second choice.
The universe is funny. This is my question. As mayor, would you ever be willing to renegotiate pension/health benefits? I have.
Yes, and to give further praise where praise is due, Councilmember Hodges oversaw the merger and the successful renegotiation of pensions as chair of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and Elizabeth Glidden was a big team player in that effort as well.
The stability that resulted from that causes me to say, let's not change it. It's a good thing. It was a great job. Good progress.
Yeah, ditto.
On the topic of the pensions that have been renegotiated, let's leave them be. But the point remains that as we go forward, we need to make sure that we're providing benefits that are fair to folks, but at the same time, don't crowd out everything else that we need to do as a city. So I do think it's time that we look at defined contribution benefit plans rather than just defined benefit plans.
I've got 2 minutes. Yes, and I compliment the council on the work that they did in renegotiating the pensions and providing more stability to our city.
Jim?
I'm part of one of those benefit plans, and mine has been renegotiated, so I'm kicking in more money. What I like about it is not cutting my future benefits, although I am contributing more. So I think there are ways to do it that are humane, and sometimes it has to be done.
Next question. Will you work to find a way for the Minneapolis Police Department to find alternative vendors for police weapons and munitions other than Smith, Wesson, and Remington, both manufacturers of assault weapons? This issue came up earlier with Mayor Ryback being asked, and the answer was pointed out that under the current police contract, the police get to purchase their own weapons with the money that they get from the city of Minneapolis. So it would take a big renegotiation of the police union in order to get to this point of choosing the manufacturer. And I'm going to be focused on other areas of the police department up first, including building trust and ending police brutality.
I'm going to revisit that issue when I'm mayor in consultation with Chief Hartel. And in furtherance of my activities on other guns, I will continue to support every and all unconstitutional methods of getting rid of guns off our streets as possible.
I'm in it, I'm on it, and I'm with the mayor on this one, and we're going to make sure we hold these gun manufacturers accountable. We can't have these big assault weapons floating through our community and killing our children. And you can count on me that this is one way to get the NRA where it hurts.
To answer the question that was asked, no, I'm not going to make a political football out of the weapon that's in the hands of someone who's putting him or herself in harm's way to keep my family safe at night. No, I would not do that.
Philosophically, it makes sense, but I think Councilmember Schiff points out the practical realities of life. I'm much more interested in figuring out how we reinstate the Civilian Review Board and bring more accountability to our police officers.
I would be in favor of renegotiating that contract, and I'm wondering if NERF produces any weapons that we might use.
Questioning whether we should give our money to folks who are advocating against our best interest is the role at the city, semicolon. That said, there are a host of public safety issues that will be important to tackle as mayor.
Just a word that your answers are getting a little longer.
Okay, here's a political one. If you do not receive the endorsement, will you run anyway? I will probably support the endorsement process, but need to hear unanimity from all of the candidates so we are all singing off the same sheet of music.
We chose ranked choice voting for a reason. We can rank the contestants and eliminate them ourselves. And so I think if I make a good showing, the people deserve to make that choice.
Since I'm not running for the endorsement of any party, let me take this opportunity to ask for your vote, your first choice vote. And semicolon, if for whatever reason you'd prefer to give your first choice vote to someone else, I certainly hope I can earn your second choice vote. Thank you.
We've got this weird thing going on with the microphones up here. I want your vote for mayor. I'm running for mayor. I anticipate that there will probably not be an endorsement. I want an endorsement. I'm running for that endorsement. I ask for your support. And I agree with Mr. Andrews that we'll wait and see what happens if there is, if nobody is endorsed, I will run. If someone else is endorsed, we'll have to see what happens with everyone else, but I would anticipate probably supporting the endorsed candidate.
I'm a little late into this game, so I don't really think my chances of getting endorsed are real good at this point. But I want my voice heard, and so I want to stay in the election. And so my choice is to continue to run so my voice can be heard.
When the field is set and candidates have agreed, I will know the answer to that question.
I will abide by the DFL endorsement because I believe in the DFL. We are stronger as a party when we stand together, and I believe that ranked choice voting means that we should endorse to make a clear designation of which candidate best aligns with the progressive values of the Democratic Farmer Labor Party.
Now, with your permission, I'm going to read 3 questions because as I picked them out, I discarded them, and I want to make sure if anybody was watching me, you don't think I'm cheating. So, the next question I picked out, first question said, would you confirm whether you're seeking the endorsement? The next question said, if you're not received the endorsement, will you run anyway? So I think we've kind of answered those. And so I'll read the third one, which is, should the Board of Estimate and Taxation be abolished? I don't think so. I think it serves an important independent function, and a specialty organization that deals with the value of our properties is worth keeping.
You got to answer the question about the Board of Estimate.
This
and
lightning round
Taxation.
tripped me up. Okay. I do not think the Board of Estimate and Taxation should be abolished. I learned a fun fact about the BET recently. The members get paid $35 per meeting. That's probably the most effective use of money in the city. The BET sets a threshold above which property tax increases cannot go.
I do not support abolishing the Board of Estimate and Taxation. I think they perform an excellent function, as do our other elected boards in Minneapolis, our school board and our park board, and I support them all.
I do not support getting rid of the black entertainment the taxation. What I do like also is, and I don't know if we still have the program, but they have a, if you make improvements on your home, you can get a reduced rate for a period of time, and I really like that. I'd like to see that continue if it's not.
More important than whether I think we should eliminate the Board of Estimate and Taxation is what you think. And we asked you in 2009, and you said no. Therefore, I say no.
No, and thank you, David Wheeler, for sitting through a very long evening tonight and for running for re-election to the Board of Estimate and Taxation.
I agree with everybody else. It serves a very useful function, great for oversight and protecting the integrity of the budget process.
Okay. Now you can choose another question. Yeah.
Who is already endorsing you? A whole lot of folks from every walk of life across our city, from every political party you can think of. I've learned of political parties I never knew existed in this process. Let me give you one name that I'm particularly proud of. You know, as I've mentioned, I'm not seeking the endorsement of the DFL party. Oh, it's the lightning round. I keep forgetting. Sorry. Ash Medea, former DFL endorsed candidate for the 3rd Congressional District, is my campaign treasurer and a dear friend of mine. I'm proud of his support.
I'm supported by former city coordinator and council member Kathleen O'Brien, former mayor Sharon Sells Belton, current county commissioner Linda Higgins, a host of neighbors, my mom, Pat Parker, my husband, F. Clayton Tyler, and most importantly, my daughter, Emma Tyler.
Hi, I am supported by my next door neighbor, Chris Hoff, my campaign manager, and I hope to win my wife's endorsement fairly soon.
I am proud to have the support of the Latino Caucus, the African American Caucus, my co-chairs Scott Dibble and Josie Johnson, state legislators Frank Hornstein and Jean Wagenius, Hennepin County Commissioner Gail Dorfman, my husband, current Metropolitan Council member Gary Cunningham, Board of Estimate and Taxation member David Wheeler, Park Board member Brad Bourne, former school board members Peggy Flanagan, Tom Madden, and Pam Costain, former library board member Laura Waterman-Whitstock, and a host of other folks out in the community, out in the neighborhoods, and my mom and dad.
I'm proud to have the only union endorsement in this race from the men and women of Minneapolis Firefighters Local 82. Also proud to have the endorsements of over 150 locally owned small business owners. And the endorsements of my co-chair, Bill Ziegler, the chair of Little Earth of United Tribes, Mahmoud Noor, as well as Kim Bartman, who runs the best bowling alley in all of Minneapolis at Bryant Lake Bowl, and State Representative Karen Clark.
I'm endorsed by my three co-chairs, Commissioner Peter McLaughlin, Alberto Monserrate, who's the chair of the Minneapolis School Board, Anita Tabb from the Minneapolis Park Board, Scott Vreeland from the Minneapolis Park Board, State Representative Phyllis Kahn, State Representative Jim Davney. I'm sure I'm probably missing somebody. And the Young DFL, we were endorsed by the My DFL, and a host of other activists, neighborhoods, business people, and happily, my family.
Well, I don't have a dramatic endorsement story to tell. I'm probably the newest comer to politics in the city of all of my competitors here. So I'm working on them. I have some almosts that I'm going to be announcing in a minute. But I have the endorsement of the police chief, former police chief, Minneapolis, Tim Dolan, who is my chair. And I look forward to your endorsement. Thank you.
Okay, the question is, government structure. Do you support charter change to give more responsibility and accountability to professional management? Yes.
I'll consider that a little more when I understand what it means. So I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Minneapolis likes our leadership accountable at the ballot box? No.
Yes, I would support a charter change on the ballot in order to create a city manager so that we can stop the waste of taxpayer dollars and have more effective accountability in City Hall.
The Minneapolis city governing structure is too decentralized and inefficient, and I would not support this change.
I wouldn't support the change. I think we're doing okay there. That's not a big problem in the city.
I would not support the change because the buck needs to stop with the mayor, someone who has a fresh set of eyes.
And that's the end of our forum. You wanna say